further ado, let's go ahead and hop into some quick topics. This first one may not be so quick. You guys are trying to talk about Stranger Things, and I feel like it would be a disjustice to our listeners. If
Disjustice.
A disservice. How about that? How about a disservice to our listeners? Because I'm sure all of our listeners have probably finished season 2, and I don't want them to obviously have to wait to hear this conversation. So I'm actually going to remove myself from this conversation by listening to some music on my phone and turning my microphone off, and then when Justin gives me the okay, I will rejoin the conversation.
All right.
Okay?
All right. Listen to the Stranger Things soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
All right. So let me... Oh.
So I will say this. I'll start by saying this. The first episode of Stranger Things Season 2 had over 15 million viewers. The week that it came out, the highest rated thing on TV was the World Series with 13 million.
Wow.
So this beat everything on TV.
Don't get into spoilers yet.
I'm not.
I'll give you the nod when
I'm dawdling
way
here.
into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they said that the final episode had just over 1 million, and that's just because people are watching it at their own pace. Some people over here haven't seen it at all. Travis gave us the okay, so oh my god. So tell me what, all right. So the Mind Flayer.
Right.
I don't know much about the Mind Flayer, but I did, can you hear me, Travis? Okay, he's not responding. I read a theory that said that the Mind Flayer in D&D will take over entire races. Not just individuals, but entire races.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the fact that he has already taken over somebody, what does that mean?
Which I guess that makes sense, yeah. I mean, he obviously could do that.
Yeah.
Obviously he's still around because the last episode, that's what we see.
Yeah.
Which isn't as direct, I think, with the ending of season 1. You're like, he's fine, and then he goes in the bathroom and vomits up a little Demogorgon slug that we didn't know about. But this one is like, oh, okay. But that's the thing that we just fought this last time. And to me, it's like, it's less exciting because it's like, oh, yeah, it's him again. It's like at the end of every episode of Thundercats that the same enemy, I can't think of his name now, they fight him every single episode.
Yeah. I didn't really pick up on this originally, but like part of that theory I had seen also said that like it took over Will, but Will lacked the physical ability to do like magic. Right? So like whenever Jane is closing that gate, he's kind of like watching her do it. He's kind of also, someone said like he's also kind of like auditioning her to be the next person that he's going to target.
Yeah.
So
that would be bad news bears.
That would be terrible, especially with the sister
out
there, and potentially 9 other people.
I kind of feel like if he's smart, obviously he would pick her because she's clearly strong, but I feel like it would more likely for story be somebody else, and then she has to help kind of fight him.
Maybe. I mean, you just don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It could be the sister then that they would go after.
Yeah.
But then if they go after a whole race of these people with abilities, it's over.
Right.
For everybody in Hawkins and the world.
How many seasons do we know for sure that they're doing? At least the third one, or do we know if there's more?
I think it was renewed for 4 total seasons, and that's it.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure if we'll get more than that or if they'll close it off, but I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually skipped over the sister episode because a lot of people were just like, what was the point? It was like a filler episode. It only made it one more episode longer than the first season.
So I hated that episode.
That's why I skipped it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: it was like IGN's highest rated reviewed episode for the season, which I thought was dumb. And then I think it was Vulture said, "Don't worry with it; it's just filler." And that's how I felt. I played on my phone for the majority of it, and I don't know if it was because the story wasn't good or if the characters were just so terrible. But it wasn't a good episode.
Yeah, it was probably GQ or somebody, but they pretty much were the same thing, that like if you skip this, you're not going to miss out on anything, and it all gets tied up with a cutscene anyway.
Yeah.
And it did. And having read that article and then watching the last episode, I'm just like, oh yeah. I mean, it was better for me because skipping over that episode helped find out what the heck just happened to, I think, was it Will that, is that how that lined up? Where he's like shaking in the field or whatever?
No, that was the one. That one led to them being in the house armed and ready, and then she comes in when they're being swarmed by the stuff. And then she comes in. I think. It's been a few days. I can't remember.
But I just know that, like, I did read an article that kind of had some spoiler of what that episode was, but they're like, it's just, she finds out that anger is what gives her power, but we've known that since the first season. Yeah. And that the only thing that really happens is she gets a different outfit.
Yeah. So, most important question, are you team Steve or team Jonathan?
Steve.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think so too.
Maybe that was the point of them switching it, because she's in the first season. You're like, oh, she needs to get with Jonathan, obviously.
Yeah,
but then she doesn't, and now you're like, well, she needs to stay with Steve.
I would be happy if just none of them ended up together. But so, what do you think of the new characters? We had Max, Billy, Paul Reiser's character. I don't remember his name, and then Bob, of course, Bob.
Well, I think Shawn Austin, is that his name?
Yeah.
I think he did an excellent job in that character, and it's funny because he was such a dork. He's just one of the kids that got older, basically. Yeah. They play D&D, and they're like total dorks, and he's just an older version of it. And you become so like connected to that character by the end of his life, I guess, that you want him to survive, which is great. And I know that he was originally supposed to die early on. Do you know about that?
Really? No.
So in that scene when they're in the car together, him and Will, and he's telling that story of the supposed connection to it.
Yeah.
That Will's supposed to kind of like lose control, and they like do something where they kill him in that scene.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
I know. But I think that would have been.
Can you hear us?
I think that would have been a little too early on as far as that goes.
Oh, we just ruined this whole show for you if you can.
I can't hear you.
All right. Jesus,
I just seen your mouth.
I'm afraid that he's heard too much now. We're going to have to kill him. I'm afraid to say anything now.
But Billy, is that a guy's name?
I didn't hear you. I just seen
I
your
thought
mouth
it was Billy. Huh? It may not be.
Yeah, I think it's Billy. He's Max's brother, stepbrother, or whatever.
He's a real douche.
Yeah, which just goes to show he's done such a good job acting, because now if he's ever in any other movie, I'm going to dislike him immediately, even if it's a good role.
I agree.
But I think he did an awesome job, and that was so 80s, man. So 80s. That car and his hair. And
the hair was awful. I'm trying to see. Yeah, Billy Hargrove. That's who he played.
Yeah, that was great.
And Paul Reiser, I think the whole time you kind of had him pegged as the villain, didn't you?
Yeah, because he was so connected with that side of like the scientists and stuff.
Yeah, he ended up being a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he did.
And he's
But
alive.
Come on, that one episode was so fucking just spot on to aliens. Like, you got Paul Reiser there. You got the beeping of the radars. You have all these dots coming in on the team that was down there with their guns, and they all get just swarmed and killed. And it was just like right out of fucking Aliens, which you haven't seen, but show. It was.
No, I haven't.
It was like spot on, and it was just hilarious to me.
Yeah. I think this is such a stupid complaint. I had one, well, besides the episode with the sister, I have one more complaint, and that is after our easy peasy hero passes away. They're like upset and everything, and then Mike is like, "Did you know that he was the founder of the AV Club?" And I felt like that would have been. I felt like that would have been more powerful had that been revealed like in the first episode or something. I don't know why. It just bothered me, the timing of that little tidbit, that little nugget of information. I was like,
right, like how could that have not been discussed?
How convenient. Yeah, like come on now. Maybe and that would have been really cool, like have him going to check out the room with the new equipment and stuff. But it just, I don't know.
Maybe it was just written late.
Maybe.
But no, I mean, all that stuff's written before they were to record it, so I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh well, are we ready to wrap up the Stranger Things conversation?
What is the Upside Down? What is it?
It's someone said, I just go by what I've read. So it's another dimension. Someone said it was another dimension where, like, the monster has already won and taken over, like an alternate timeline dimension kind of thing.
Which kind of makes sense, though. Tessa, who was a guest on the show, once said that she thinks it could be, like the same dimension, but the future where it's taken over, I guess. Like it's the same area, but the future. But the problem with, I think, both of these theories is that the environments change. I mean, the only one that would kind of work is the alternate dimension, but that still doesn't make sense. So, like, at the end of the season 2, it's the snowball, and they have all the lights and decorations, and when the camera flips, it has the same setup. It's the same lights and everything. So how can it be an alternate dimension where it's already won, and then the environment still changes to match?
That's a good point. I don't know. That could just be... I think Travis is... Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but that does make sense. Or it doesn't make sense for that theory. You know?
Yeah. Somebody... I think she may have mentioned something like it's an alternate dimension where light and energy doesn't exist. That's why there's always like that weird connection between the light surges and stuff. But also, again, I think this last episode, what's really kind of killed that is because it shows all those lights in the school. So it's like, well, the energy and lights do exist.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if they know. I hope that they do, because that would be really sad if they didn't have this planned out. But
right.
Yeah. If you get time, Nerdist did an episode with the Duffer Brothers, and it was a great. Like it was such a good listen. I highly recommend it.
Oh, on Netflix you can do.
Beyond Stranger Things.
Yes, Beyond Stranger Things.
With Jim Rash, the dean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. At first when it came on, I was like, oh God, am I supposed to be watching these after each episode, like Talking Dead? But then he was like, don't watch this if you haven't finished. I was like, oh, okay, I feel good. But I need to go back and rewatch those.
Yeah, I would just watch the first episode, but it's interesting.
Good. All right, well, you ready to bring Travis back into the mix?
Yeah.
Hey, you. You can join us again.
What?
We were just talking about how 11 died, but we're done.
Are you done? Oh, okay.